Hey friend, what's up? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the cold email automation 101 based on the system that we're using to book meetings for our clients with firms like Airbus, Lockheed, and more. We've sent over 10 million cold emails so far, and I feel like I know something about this stuff. And in this video, I had Claus prepare a board that I'm going to present to you on the screen share based on all the things that we've set up and within Claude. So I'm using Claude to run my entire outbound thing, and I've basically distilled it down as to what we're actually doing step by step onto this board. I'll probably make this board available somehow, some way, so you guys can check it out for yourself. You just need to check out the link in the description. But let's get straight into it. How do you send 1,000+ cold emails a day without landing in spam? And the base principle behind this is you will not use your main domain, right? You will not just connect a bunch of inboxes to your main domain. Let's say Google, right? You won't connect Google inboxes to google.com and then send out 500, 1,000, 2,000 emails just from one singular email address. You're not going to do that. What you're going to do is more something like this. So let me actually zoom in. So each of these boxes that you see in here represents one domain, and the three underneath represents three mailboxes, or represent three mailboxes. And that's your infrastructure, right? So you're going to set up a bunch of new domains, not subdomains, new domains that may sound similar to your main domain. So if you had google.com, for example, you could say try google.com as like one new domain that you're going to buy, right? And yes, this means you're going to buy domains. And when buying domains, there's one important thing. Well, that was not actually what I want to say, but there's one important thing. Do not cheap out on infrastructure. You cannot cheap out on infrastructure. You always need to buy proper domains. But let's actually cover this graph for a second so this gets clearer. So we've bought all these domains. Let's assume we just bought them, right? And we've connected all of these inboxes to each of these domains. As soon as we have this huge array of, in this case, 50 mailboxes, sending 20 emails a day max each, which equates to 1,000 a day in total, right? We will take all of these inboxes and we will connect them to our sending platform. That could be Instantly, could be Smart Lead, could be Email Bison, could be Plus Vibe. There are a bunch of different email sending platforms. The main important thing is you need to connect all of them to that platform, because that's where we're going to run the campaigns from, and where we're also going to host the Warmup, which is a very important thing. And I'm going to get to the details as to like how we're doing it, how to set up the Warmup, etc. But let's assume we just warmed up all of these as well, right? Let's just keep it very simple, 101. I'm just going to tell you how we exactly do it, right? Assuming we have had perfect warm-up, we will then go ahead within that sending platform. We will get our prospect database, score and verify all the leads that we get, right? Meaning we look at all the prospect data that we have in any given CSV file, and then we analyze, well, which of these is actually a good fit for our target audience? Because we don't want to email people that we don't want to have as clients anyway. So we might as well pre-qualify so we're not wasting our sending capacity of 1,000 a day in this case on non-ICP fit prospects. And ICP means ideal customer profile, right? So if they're not a fit anyway, like they don't fit your ideal customer profile criteria, we don't need to email them. So we can just save on that. We can get our campaigns more efficient just by scoring and verifying them before we actually reach out to them. But as soon as we have done that, we can go into campaigns and we can set up 4 different campaigns. One campaign is going to contain all the email addresses of the people that we want to email that have a Google Workspace account. Other ones, Microsoft. Then other ones with security gateways such as Proofpoint, Barracuda, Mimecast, right? All of these different spam filters. And then everything else that we couldn't analyze for actual email MX records, which basically means what kind of email service provider they are using, right? So we have Google, Outlook, and spam filters, and then other, basically. And for each of these, we're gonna run the same offer that we're going to run in this campaign anyway, but with different types of copy, because sometimes most of the times Microsoft email addresses that we're emailing, right? We're emailing to Microsoft. It usually works better if the email is pretty short. So considering things like that, we'll need to split up this campaign into 4 so that we can then send out our properly written email scripts. And if you don't know how that works, I have a bunch of videos on that on my channel. Check them out. But we use basic email copywriting, and then we get all of these emails to the people, which will get us replies, which will land in one shared inbox. So we have a bunch of inboxes right now, right? If you have a proper sending platform, they allow you to have a master inbox where all the responses will be gathered. So you're going to check all the responses in there. You're going to sort them into 5 buckets. Just to name a couple: interested, not like bad timing, or maybe out of office, maybe wrong person reached out to, right? Or just not interested in general. And depending on that, you will put them into the correct follow-up sequences so that you can get qualified meetings out of that, which will get you to paying clients once you have had successful sales calls. That's the entire process. So you just need an infrastructure, targeting and copy, appointment setting, which is also, by the way, the exact service that we provide for our clients. We have an agency that does this, obviously. So we're doing exactly these 3 steps completely done for you for our clients. And they just have to pay us per call that we book, which is a pretty nice agreement, right? And we also teach how this stuff works in our school community. Let me actually show you right now. This is our school community. We have 78 members right now. I think we're at $49 right now. Yes, $49, 78 members. And we give you all of the courses, etc., for cold emailing, appointment setting, using Cloud Code, etc. Also access to our email scrapers, daily Q&As, weekly calls. So you have direct access to me as well. You can join via the first link in the description. It has a 7-day free trial. But yeah, that's pretty much what needs to happen, right? Now let's get into the details. So the sending infrastructure. I'm just gonna we have a nice little list, and at the end there's like a summary as well, and you will get this document as well for your own document, like files. But let's go through the step by step, and I'm just gonna yap around this so you have some context as to what that even means, like what the things on screen actually mean. So the sending infrastructure, separate domains, many small inboxes, and a reserved bench you never send from. Very important. Never send cold email from your real company domain. We just covered that. Very simple reason. In cold emailing, at some point, you will burn your domain because you're essentially cold email is the worst scenario for any given offer to perform in. Like ads are way more chill. People opt into ads. If you're on Facebook and you're scrolling, you just accepted the fact that there will be ads. But if you have an email address, you don't want to have people sending you offers. Which is why people are less receptive to cold emails, right? So that leads them to mark your emails potentially as spam. That's just going to happen. It's just even if you have the best email on planet Earth, some people are still going to do it. And then if you're not, if they're not going to do it, some email service provider like Google, for example, or Outlook is going to AI analyze all the emails that you're sending. At some point, they're going to flag your domain. So it's going to happen. So that's why you don't send out from your real company domain. That's very important. You buy separate sending domains. So then when buying separate sending domains, you only buy .com. I've tried .xyz. I've tried .info. I've tried .co. I've tried .info. I don't know if I mentioned that. I've tried a bunch. I wanted to save money as well. Yes, I get the struggle. .com, it just costs a lot of money. Especially on scale. It's annoying. Yes, you still have to buy .com. Because one law, I feel like it said something else. But my one law, it's not this one. My one law, never cheap out on infrastructure. It doesn't work. What does this actually say? Never trade deliverability for volume. A system sending its full quota into the spam folder with 0 meetings. Yes. Never cheap out on infrastructure because we can't cheap out on deliverability, because if we don't have deliverability, volume won't matter. That's why I have this thought. But anyway, let's keep moving on. So you put 3 mailboxes onto each domain. You could also do 2. Just do 3. Just do 3. 101, just do 3. You don't like don't cheat the system. Do 3. I've tested 4, 5, 6, etc. It doesn't work. 3. It works. All good. Then you need to set up some DNS records. This sounds geeky as hell, and it is geeky as hell. Like you have to set up like DNS records. SPF, DKIM, DMARC. You don't know what that means. Me neither. It is also not important. I know what this means, but it is not important for you to know what this means. You just ask your AI to set up this for cold emailing. That's basically it. And then your domains will have the proper DNS records. That's pretty much it. Then Google Mailbox sends 20 a day, and Outlook Mailbox sends 5 a day. That's, in general, that's true. Yes. I'm buying my mailboxes from Scout Mail, and this is what they recommend, and I just go with their recommendations because they're providing me the email addresses. Why would I not trust them with the actual settings that they give me? So very simple, as you see, like just need 20 a day for Google mailboxes. And if you buy Outlook, it's 5 a day. I never buy Outlook anymore. Like I just don't. Except I'm doing like an healthcare campaign, like where I'm targeting healthcare institutions, because for some reason they all use Outlook. I might buy Outlook. I usually still buy Google. So between the two of us, I would just buy Google. It's just like it's cheaper, it works, it's all good. Yes. And then if you ever need, like if you're ever in the situation where you're like, hey John, I'm blasting 1,000 emails now. I want to have the 1,000 plus, right? I want to send out more. You just buy more domains and inboxes. That's exactly what you're going to do. You buy more domains and inboxes. Yes. You don't buy more inboxes on top of the 3 that you already have per domain. You buy a new domain with new inbox. You just add another one of these badges, right? 1 new domain, 3 mailboxes. That's how you do it. And you never go past the 20 a day. Just don't do it. New mailbox warms for 2 to 3 weeks before it sends 1 cold email. 2 weeks is fine. Yes, 2 weeks is fine. Warm up every single domain that you get, every single inbox that you have in your account for 2 weeks. Make sure that the warm-up pool that you're using is as high quality as possible. Very important, super underrated. Warm-up is the backbone of your infrastructure. And warm-up, by the way, in case you don't know, warming up an inbox means you have these fake inboxes, right? You have a bunch of these. Other people are also sending cold emails. Also, like all the other ones that are using the same sending platform as yours, like Instantly, Smartly, etc. We also send cold emails, right? And we also want to warm up our domains. So what we do is, with all the cold emailers around the globe, we have one pool where we're sending out emails to one another that look real. They're AI generated and they're randomized like across the globe, so that the traffic that these inboxes generate look real. They look non-spammy, right? And we respond to one another and then they respond back, etc. It's just like simulating real conversations. And you need to make sure that the people that you're conversing with in these warm-up pools don't be triggered. With the mainstream sequencing tools, you have gambling sites in the warm-up pool, pornography, you have, what else do you have? Betting and whatnot. Like you have all of these different types of inboxes in there as well. Like all of these companies are also doing cold email, which is why we switched over to Email Bison. And Email Bison doesn't take anyone, basically. In case you're curious. Like they don't let anyone in, which is super nice because I can be sure that my inboxes are not sending out any emails to some gambling site, right? Which is going to harm my reputation as well, because at some point they could backtrack. Why are these people contacting each other? It doesn't make any sense. So just to keep it clean, have a nice warm-up pool. And then once they're a warm-up, they forever stay in warm-up. It is warm-up, like as in I'm warming up something, but they stay warmed at all times. They need to stay in warm-up forever, basically. You'll never take any inbox out of the warm-up ever, ever, ever. No. Yes. And then that's just a rule that I implemented because I found it really useful. So say you have 100 inboxes, right? I'll always take out 25 of them and I just leave them in Warmup and they send no cold emails. I give them a separate tag so that I never use them for cold emails. And then when I'm seeing with the checks that I'm going to show you in a minute, there's a lot to come still. When I'm seeing with the diagnosis that some of the inboxes are starting to burn away, and I'm going to show you exactly what that means. Like they drop in response rates, they go up in bounce rates, so they're bouncing, they're sending emails, but the email doesn't connect, right? You actually see that with the sending platforms. Whenever that happens, I just want to be able to easily take out one of the 25 that I have in reserve, immediately swap them out, and then get a new domain and warm them up for 14 days. Because otherwise, whenever some domain burns away, I need to wait 14 days to replace that sending speed, that sending capacity, right? And that just sucks, especially for clients. They want this to just run without any problems. I always like to keep some in reserve. Yes. So, yes. So in that case, if you wanted to send out from 50, you would have to buy about 6-7 mailboxes just to have 25% of those in reserve. Because a replacement domain warms for 2 weeks before it swaps in, which would suck. We just covered that. That's awesome. Yes, so the list. A bad list burns good infrastructure. Who you email is a deliverability decision. It's extremely important, actually. It is super important because if you email the wrong people, they are all going to mark you as spam. So you need to make sure that you're emailing only the right people. That is super, super important. So I need you to score every company against your ICP before anyone gets an email. And if you don't know how that works, you can join our school community. I'll give you the plugins that I'm using in Claude so that Claude does this for you. You need to verify every address, load in only the ones that are marked as deliverable. We use Million Verifier for verification. You throw away all the catch-all addresses. Catch-all means you couldn't really verify whether they are real or not. Like you couldn't say that they're a good email or a bad email. It's just like in between. We can't verify them. Don't email them. Super low ROI. Because if you bounce on all of them, it's going to suck for your domain deliverability. That's going to be bad. So we're not going to do that. Yes. Then, obviously, we keep a permanent list of every address that ever bounced. So we have a database of people that we're never going to email ever again. That's very important. We're going to split them by the provider that hosts them as per this specific graph. So all the Google inboxes go into one campaign, the Microsoft ones here, the spam filter ones here, and all the other ones into the fourth campaign. And yes, that's pretty much like the 80-20 to lists in general. Once you have a list, because I know like all of these different tools like Apollo, etc., you have to pay a subscription. Once you have a list and you figured out how many emails you want to send per month, you can easily calculate, okay, well, I have, say, 1,000 emails that I can send every day. I want to send every person 2 emails. That means I can reach out to 500 new people a day. If I have 20 working days in a month, that means I can send out 20 times 500, which is 10,000 people, right? So with 10,000 people, you can easily go ahead to Prospeo, Apollo, etc. You can pull 10,000 people and you can then load them up and you can be sure that your campaigns will never run dry because you can recycle the non-responders after 30 days with a new email script. And the reason I'm doing it this way is, and why I'm not like on, like some people do email sequences with like 7, 8, 9, 10 steps. Doesn't make any sense. Especially if you're still in the cold phase. They haven't even raised their hand after they've received your initial email. Don't do that. They will mark you as spam like crazy. That's gonna cook your domains 100%. I send out 1 email and I do that until let's say I have the first email, right? I have 20 different variants of the first email. I send them all out to the first batch to figure out the winning ones. And then I only take the winning ones. And then I set up the winning ones in a new campaign after I recycle. And then the winning ones again 2 days after as the second stage. That's the only thing that I'm doing. It works. Done. Copy. Just a couple basic things. So, send plain text, no HTML, no images, no logos, no colors, no links, no phone numbers, no link written as plain text, none of that. Yes. Keep the email super short. Subject lines super short. Run several variants of the email at the same time, as I've just explained. You can have one offer with like 20... You can have one single offer. Let's say you sell the same thing as we're selling, right? You're selling pay-per-call lead generation, right? You can have the same offer written out in 30 different variants. Done. Determine a winner until a variant has at least 500 cents. More would be better. 1,000 is probably, you can be pretty confident that after 1,000 emails sent, you could be pretty sure that it either works or it doesn't. So that's about like statistical significance in general. So do you have enough iterations so that you can actually say, yes, this works or it doesn't work, right? You just need enough volume to judge whether that actually works. And in terms of judging, judge on replies, like actual positive replies and response rates, never on open rate. Do not track open rate, please. Just turn it off. It doesn't do anything. All the open rates that you're getting are fake anyway, since the most recent iOS updates about that stuff. Apple devices, for example, they mark your email as opened as default. So the number is useless. It doesn't do anything for you. If you want to judge deliverability, look at response rates. If you want to judge the quality of your offer, look at positive response rates and booking rates, right? Well, just positive response rates. And then for booking rates, you will check how many people actually booked the call after you got the lead. Sorry. If you want to check your response handling quality, you can check the booking rate. Pretty much. That's it. Yes. And in general, the workflow is pretty simple. So as soon as you have a couple of winners, you just keep the winners. You deactivate all the losing scripts, and then you write new versions off of the winners, not the losers. You look at the winning ones, you slightly change them, run them again, and you keep running them. And you get more and more winners over time. I've actually made a video about machine learning in cold email, which is exactly this process. So you can have an AI look at the winning scripts, the losing scripts. What do they have in common? Okay, new email scripts that I'm going to write are going to have all the things that winning scripts have and none of the things that losing scripts have. That's essentially how you're going to do it manually if you don't have access to the systems. But you can get access to the systems via the first link in the description. So, and in general, instead of just making promises and bullshit, just show them proof. And if you don't have proof, offer them proof. Offer them something of value. A service-based lead magnet, for example, where, for example, we're running these campaigns. Let me actually show them real quick. This is for a couple of friends of ours, and they are running Checkout Creatives, email marketing agency, basically for e-commerce brands. And we're literally offering a service-based lead magnet where they will write a custom email flow for e-commerce businesses to their target audience, right? And we just started these campaigns. We send out 14,000 emails, almost 6% response rate, 2.25% positive response rate. And that's including out of office messages, etc., right? So this is nuts. This is amazing. This is so good. It works. It is amazing. Especially if you look at the last couple of days. This is wild. It just works. Done. So that's pretty cool. Just offer them actual things like that are interesting. These are strangers. Like if your offer makes it in cold email, it will make it everywhere. Everywhere. This is why cold email is such a useful validation tool. It's so useful. You can ram volume and then see if it actually has market demand, because you're emailing people that do not know you, have zero interest in reading your email, have zero interest in your offer. It's the worst possible scenario and environment for an offer. And if it still gets people to respond positively, you're doing something right, which is awesome. So with that said, let's keep moving. So in general, whenever you use personalization in your copy, like hey, first name, etc., sometimes in your CSVs, you will not have the first name. So in that case, make sure that your first name has a fallback method. Like if first name is empty, just write there. So it says hey there, not hey space, right? That's not what you want. Like, this is basic professionalism, like, you need to make sure that this stuff works. So, and then in general, if you want to follow up, you want to always follow up in the same thread, not open up a new thread. Why? If you already have sent an email and it most likely landed, right? We have to assume that it landed. If you email the same thread, you're most likely going to land again in the primary inbox. You're not going to land in spam. That's the simplest reason why. Yes. So, sending. We're repeating a couple things, but I think these are very important. Split up the email service providers into different campaigns so that you can actually analyze which of these works best, because then you can just remove all the other ones from your prospect list and then only email the ones that work well. We're currently doing this for this client. 1 second. Okay, boom. So we're doing it for AirPay right now. And I've noticed AirPay's campaigns perform horrible on Outlook inboxes. So we're only going to email Gmail going forward. And the response rates are nuts, once again. So if you look at the last 60 days, sent out 113,000 emails, 600 responses, 121 leads. Didn't look like that before. We had like 0.6% response rates. So we just doubled the results, which is quite nice. Yes, we would have more volume if we added the Outlook ones as well, but that would also hurt our deliverability because we would be bouncing, which is not ideal. So we turn off open rate tracking. No unsubscribe links. By the way, also not these like fancy, I hate to see them, like reply stop or reply banana so we stop sending you emails. Please don't do it. The best emails that you can send are the ones that feel like you just took a couple seconds out of your day because you spontaneously saw someone on LinkedIn and you wrote them a personalized email by hand. That's the best kind of email. You're talking to a single person, not talking to an audience. Do not use unsubscribing. This is not email marketing for e-commerce brands. Like, this is not what it is. This is a cold email. This is a one-on-one interaction. It is not one-to-many. Yes, it feels like one-to-many if you have 20,000 people in your prospect list, but it is one-to-one. It is not one-to-many. One-to-one. So write one-to-one emails. You would never use this if you emailed me personally. Never. So don't do it. So this, honestly, give every mailbox a real person's name and photo. I don't like fervently believe this. I think it's a pretty good thing to do because if, for example, I use my name, my socials will come up. And I like that. I want people to see my social media accounts. I want people to see my content. I want people to read about me, right? I want people I want cold email to be a little more, like, little easier for me. They don't know me. They don't have a profile picture there, mostly because, like, most email clients, they don't even show email, like, profile pictures in email. So 75% of people won't see my face anyway. At least when they Google my name, I'll pop up, which is quite nice, right? So if you want to run cold email and you want to do it properly, you should also have content. I'm just giving that to you as a recommendation, right? So send inside business hours. That's pretty much a no-brainer. It doesn't make any sense to send at midnight. That really doesn't make any sense. And that's the thing that I really like to do. I really like this board. It picked up on all the nuances over all the chats that I had with Thought. So whenever you write out new email scripts and you want to send them out, before you launch the campaign, just have Claude or the emails tool that you're using send you test emails to your main inbox, like your normal email address, right? As if someone would cold email you. And then take your phone and then click on the email and just glance at it for a second. If you don't feel like reading it at all, rewrite the email. You can just like respond, write up a draft, right? You write up a couple drafts to all the different variants that you've written, and then you tell Claude, hey, I rewrote the emails that you sent me as test emails. I just put them in draft. Can you update all of them, please? My best performing scripts came to life like that. Like, this is the process. It just makes a lot of sense. If you don't want to read your email, strangers won't read it at all. Like, it will straight go to archives. And I know it because I run cold emails. I get cold emails. I archive most of them. Yes. Sending days, actually, this is preference. It's just preference. If you know that they are running their business on the weekends as well, email them on the weekends as well. If you know there's like a corporate environment and they only work from 9 to 5 and you will not reach anyone after 5 p.m., especially on a Friday, do not email them at that time. It doesn't make any sense. You can just email later. Done. Not saying that this is like gonna change your campaigns. Like for a long time, I've been running on Saturdays as well. Didn't really make too much of a difference. I'll recycle all of these prospects anyway at some point. But send from Monday to Friday. I send from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., I believe. Especially if I'm emailing founders as well, because they're always on their phone. So that works. Yes. Yes. And then for your total capacity, right? Let's say you have the setup that we've mentioned above, where you have 50 different email inboxes. You will be able to send out 1,000 emails a day. If you have 5 campaigns, obviously, right? Where are we? Obviously, you are going to set it up in a way. I've lost track. Where is it? Obviously, if you have 50 email inboxes, you have 1,000 emails a day that you can send, and you have 4 campaigns, make sure that each of the campaigns sends 250. Just spread it out evenly. Just like this is basics, but we're talking about cold email automation 101. So you need to get the basics right. And by the way, all the professionals in cold emailing do the basics right at scale. They don't do fancy shit. Like, let me tell you, like, straight up, clay enrichments, this, like, no. If they wanted to enrich something, they would just enrich it. They would not make a huge deal out of it. They would not talk about clay all day long. And the only reason why they would talk about clay all day long is because they have a deal with clay. Just saying, right? So, with that said, just make this basic stuff sure. Like, just make sure that this actually works. So, pause a campaign before you edit it, then start it again. This is actually a crux with Email Bison. That's why I put it there. Email Bison just requires you to pause the campaign before you actually edit anything about it. I don't think this is too relevant right now, but I guess I covered it because I didn't really see that before I recorded the video. So it's all good. What is this? Pace a campaign so it finishes when you want it to. Yes, that's an optional thing as well. So I like to run them at equal speed so I can see which campaign performs best right now. Even if they have different sizes in prospect list loaded up. Let's say you have 4 campaigns. One list has 10,000 people in it, the other one 100,000, the other one 2,000, right? I'll still send out all the emails equally distributed on all of them so I can quickly see which of these campaigns deserves more attention in case I have varying prospect list sizes. If you know that all of these are going to work well because you've already tested all of that, pace it so that they end all on the same date, because then you can just, like, a couple days before, load them up again. Yes, depending on preference, obviously. But now, that's basically like all the basics around sending, etc. To keep this system running successfully, you'll need this. I call it the daily loop, and I've implemented that in Claude as well. And that's essentially how I keep track of all of my campaigns, especially across all the clients, right? So every single day, Claude goes into my Email Bison account. For you, it might be instantly, right? And it asks 13 questions. And they're divided into 3 different buckets. So we have funnel-related questions, growth levers, and just infrastructure / mailboxes in general. So for the funnel, it goes through the account and it asks, are we sending? If so, good. Are we landing in the inbox? Good. Are we getting replies? Good. Are we booking meetings? Good. Can we do more? Yes? Awesome. How can we do more? Can we refill the lists, the campaigns, right? Can we send more per day because we haven't fully utilized the 20 emails a day that we can send per inbox, right? Can we add better copy? Do we have winners already, right? Can we write up new winners based on them? Can we deactivate the losers? Can we buy more inboxes right now? Does it make sense to buy more inboxes? Are we already maxing out these before we buy new inboxes? Very simple stuff. And as soon as this is done, it will then go ahead and check every single mailbox. Is the warm-up on? Is it sending cold emails? Is it bouncing? Is it at full speed? right? And depending on all of these questions, it gives me all the decisions that I have to make. Say we have the possibility to add more winning scripts, right? If that's true, it's gonna tell me, hey, I have drafted up these new scripts. Is this good? Like, can I get a decision from you? And it just gives me decisions. I don't need to like diagnose myself. It does the diagnosis itself. And it just gives me the decisions, and then it goes back to execution mode, so I don't have to touch anything. And yes, you can get this system in our school community, first link in the description. It is pretty cool. Like, this takes away 95% of the work. Super nice. So, this is how I do it. Yeah, this is how I do it. I don't really need to cover these because I essentially covered all of that and more with what I just said. This is super cool. I really like this. Yes. And then replies. So this is for appointment setting. We're going through the entire thing, right? So we had targeting a copy. Now we have replies, appointment setting, etc. So, boom. Yes. A couple basics. I'll skip a couple of them because they're not that important. Like AI just did AI stuff in here. So, a couple important things. If you're getting responses, that's a good sign. Like, responses are a good sign. Why? They tell you you're landing in their primary inbox. If you're getting out of office messages, that's a good sign because you're most likely landing in the primary inbox. That's a good thing. If you're getting responses but no positive responses, that's a bad thing. That means your offer sucks. Good. You can change the offer now. If you're getting positive responses at a decent rate, and decent is whatever works well for you, by the way. If that is true, awesome. Keep doing more. And to understand whether you're actually landing in spam or not, like in terms of response rate, the thing that I just mentioned before, like when does the response rate tell you that you're landing in the primary? If it's around 1%. If you get a 1% response rate with out of office messages, etc., you're probably landing in the primary inbox. With Outlook inbox, for example, a lot of times I'm like getting 0.6%, 0.8% response rates. I guess that's solid for Outlook. But in general, that's like the ballpark figure that I can give you. Anything after that is just like about your profitability. So if it's profitable for you, you keep running the campaign. If it's not, you don't run the campaign, you change stuff, right? You change stuff. Now, to make sure that you actually get booked meetings out of this, there are a couple of things. Number one, answer within 5 minutes. Speed to lead is just important. I don't know what to tell you about this. Like, you just need to respond extremely quickly. If you take hours, it's bad. If you take days, it's even worse. If it takes a week, bro, the moment you respond, it's gonna get received as a new cold email because they've completely forgotten completely about you. Even after an hour, it's terrible, right? Do it within minutes. We've tested this ourselves. Like, the numbers are exactly like Harvard studies say it, etc. Like, if you don't know about this, just Google speed to lead Harvard study, read through that study. We've had the exact same thing. We've tested this. We have an internal platform, which, by the way, all the people in the school community also get access to the internal platform, where we analyzed our booking rates over the time that it took to respond back to the leads, and it looks exactly like in the Harvard studies. So check out the Harvard studies because that's exactly what we have on our Outbound OS software as well. I think now it's called Lead Arc because we've changed the name of our agency. But yeah, anyway, that's that. Answer leads quickly, ASAP. And in general, as soon as you get a response and you want to have booked meetings, right? You don't just want positive responses. You want people on meetings. You need to follow up, and you need to follow up fast with speed to lead, personalized, right? A lot, like frequently. And then when they respond, you want to be super available. Like, you want to always make yourself available in some way, shape, or form without losing frame. Very important. Super important. This is arguably the hardest part about cold email. Arguably. Offers is probably the hardest because most people's offers sucks. And then after you get a proper offer, this is probably the next hardest part. Is a proper sales motion that turns outbound leads into actual booked meetings. Super hard. Yes. But with that said, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Like, we have this end screen right now, all the numbers in one place, so you can actually screenshot this. This is how we're running this, and this is how we're booking crazy nice meetings with companies like Airbus, Porsche, BMW, Toyota, Lockheed Martin even, right? Deloitte. This stuff just works, which is super cool. And if you want to copy our exact systems, first thing in the description, school, sign up, free trial. You have direct access to me. You have direct access to my co-founder, which is running all of this stuff, where he's booking the meetings, right? Very hard stuff. He does it very well. And he set up all the systems for that as well. You get access to him as well. We have live calls. I answer every single Q&A, like all of your questions. You can just post them in there, like other members are doing right now as we speak, right? Have a couple messages that I have to go through. But I will respond back to them with personalized videos explaining away their problems. Yes. So with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.